Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of the internet, formerly known as ARPANET, created by whom again, folks? We, the people. And it's always about we, the people. Today, we're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff. But before getting busy, let's pass it to the studio with our resident geniuses, El Señor Jacques Van Bebbe and Mayana.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I love to hear the way you say good morning. How you guys doing this morning?
We're good. We're good.
We're good.
Hey, Jack, I heard Jack has a little something on some bottles. So let's get busy, Jack.
All right. I've been thinking a lot here lately about how becoming environmentally conscious about our spending and consumption habits, mainly the need to change them for political purposes to push back on the corporate power that profits off little bitty portions in small packages, some in boxes, some in shrink wrap, and the negative polluting effects. My first pet peeve is individual water bottles, a habit of convenience. The corporate profiteers are conveniencing us and the world to death with this trend. Whole aisles in grocery stores are devoted to these products. First, the water in these bottles is not forced to have any higher standard than your municipal utility water. Some are filtered by reverse osmosis, some have salt and other water softeners. The thing they don't tell you is that plastic like metal and glass are actually liquid that are solid at ambient temperature. Metal oxidizes, rust, and raw unlaminated window glass melts over time, creating a ripple distorting effect. Look at the windows in the old Victorian homes, their windows. This effect is highly prized by old home restoration contractors. Plastic bottles have what is called an unzip, or oxidation of plastic into the water in the bottles. Water bottles that sit in the hot sun in front of a store unzip more. Have you ever noticed the plastic taste or smell when drinking out of one of those thin, flimsy water bottles that's been sitting in the sun for a while? Or a flimsy bottle dropped on the ground over time seems to be biodegrading? Well, it is, which physically proves this unzipping process. Also, the rubbery taste of a water hose out of the garden water hose, not a RV hose, the white kind, that taste. And also the smell of a new car, which is the unzip of vinyl made from vinyl chloride monomer, VCM. It's a cancer suspect agent, or PVC, polyvinyl chloride, which is pipe and plastic tubing. Because a plastic bottle has a recycling label on it doesn't mean it will ever be recycled. The corporate profiteers have no will to recycle because the manufacturing of plastic is what they profit off of. And the people participate in this ecological travesty. Every time we buy a case of bottled water, the corporate plastic manufacturers profit from poisoning you and polluting the planet with plastic waste in our landfills and Mother Earth's oceans. So Americans, get a grip on your plastic water bottle consumption. Do this for the love of Mother Earth. Buy yourselves a reverse osmosis carbon filtered water filter that removes chlorine, and carry your pure water in a thermos like the 32-ounce KPFT stainless thermos available during our fund drive for a small donation. You'll help keep free speech community radio alive, prevent your bodies from plastic residue, improve your organic gardening with unchlorinated water, because chlorinated water kills the microlife that processes the nutrients that feed your plants. The corporate profiteers don't care about you or Mother Earth. Under this administration, they are pulling off all the guardrails of environmental protection. They are destroying any regulation that blocks them from maximum profit at the people's expense. So you, the people, must become the become environmentally conscious of this process and act to stop it by re-examining your consumer consumption of convenient corporate water packaging. If you want to see things change your actions and be the change. Tell the corporate packaging industry to go kick rocks.
I mean, I laugh, but it is very serious. And I promise I wasn't going to let you change the program because there's something that I wanted to say about. I'm still not going to let you change it this time, but I'm happy. But you tickle my fancy, and I'm going to have to touch it. So, folks, I got to do it.
Yeah, I'll do that again at another time after the fund drive because.
Yeah, man, I tell you that subject, brother, is actually such an important subject, and it's persistent. But I tell you what, listeners, I need to go to Sandy. But before I jump to Sandy, I want to say welcome, Daniel Allen from Saratoga Springs, New York, Lisa Blair, Atlanta, Georgia. We also have in the morning Emmy Wilkinson, Stephen Rosenwick, Anna N. Frost, Lynette. Good morning, Lynette. How you doing? Beautiful. Vada from Austin, Texas. Gloria J. Maloney, Lynette. I think I said Lynette already. And a few others. Remember, Substack doesn't give me all the people that comes up in the beginning. But anyway, we are still in Fund Drive, folks. But we have some important subjects to cover today. And our brother in that studio there also made it a third subject because I'm going to start on that water thing, which is actually very important. Let's go to Sandy and then I'll be back. But stick with us, guys. It's not only Fund Drive. We have important stuff to cover. Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto, and good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, and yes, we are in Fund Drive. In fact, this is day number 7. And on day number 7, we find ourselves starting with 449 distinct acts of kindness, 449 donations so far. And so far, we've totaled $80,467 on our way to $175,000 that will allow us to get to February. Looking for the first pledge of the morning. Can that be you? Can you break the ice at 8 minutes after 6 o'clock and get us started on what we will hope is a successful Wednesday of fundraising? Looking to increase that total today to at least $86,000, meaning that we're looking for a total contribution today, all day, of $5,500. We start here with Politics Done Right, and we're asking for a $500 goal. Can you contribute toward that? 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. The essential voice of KPFT hinges on successful completion of a fund drive as it's been for 55 and a half years. This is our 56th fall fund drive. So let's get the day off right. Who's going to be first to step up and support Politics Done Right, where you get a voice, you get to call in and join the discussion on vibrant and vital issues that surround us today. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Folks, remember, we still have on the website, or you can call in and say it. We have a Coffee with Egberto. It's a $250 contribution. And you can go to the website and just scan for Egberto, Egberto, when you hit the donate button and select that. We only have, I think, 2 of those so far that people have taken in this particular fund drive. If you ask anybody that have done it before, we have fun when we go out and have a chat and sit down and with a cup of coffee. We can do that. Hey, if you're out of town and you know that at some time you're going to be in Houston, hey, do it. Give me a call up. We'll go ahead and have some coffee as well. The T-shirt for Politics Done Right as well is $100. Don't forget that. It's not the T-shirt. The T-shirts are just a token of appreciation that you've decided to contribute to keeping this station on air. Remember, not a penny comes to Egberto Willies. This is on volunteer basis. In fact, I'm a donor as well at a $10 a month rate is what I do because I feel a responsibility to also be a part of what I'm asking everybody else to do. So if you can, we have the sustaining membership at $5 a month, $10 a month. We could use quite a few of those more. The more sustainers we have, the fewer times we have to come back here and ask you for money. I'm going to get into water bottles. We're going to talk about some healthcare, and we're going to talk about the Democratic Party and why it is that Trump is in existence right now. Let's go to Tag, and then we'll hit some water. Come on in. All right, Tag.
Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. Talk to me.
I've just been contemplating this issue with the boats being blown up and off the South America coast.
Yeah, talk to me. What's your thought on that?
Well, I think all those Second Amendment people better be ready.
Yeah, well,
the stage is being set for them to do that here. Being able to just blow up boats off the coast of America, or even if you've got a blue car coming up 45, it'd be cars come up 45 are deemed to be running drugs, and they can just blow you up.
Again,
so I think those people who go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think, people keep saying you're far off until things start to happening. Did you ever think you would live to see the day where masked men assault people in the middle of the street, some of them citizens of the United States, drop to the floor, head banged at the floor, and that nobody has won a battle in court saying that is illegal? Nobody would believe that. We are being trained right now to accept certain things as normal. And that is what Trump has been doing, normalizing evil. And the more you normalize it, the more it becomes just accepted. And that is what's going on right now. And Lee the Bearcat says, so keeping drugs out to kill people is bad. That is not what they're doing. They're not keeping drugs out at all. First of all, blowing up a boat I think maybe you should learn a little bit of geography, my brother Lee the Bearcat out of Austin, because blowing up a boat in the middle, a speedboat going between Venezuela and Trinidad, which is what was really happening here. It's just a short distance between Venezuela and the island of Trinidad. That does very little for the drug trade. The real drug trade occurs between Mexico and the United States at the border. But let me tell you worse. Suppose we started blowing stuff up in the United States suppose Mexico started blowing stuff up when those arms that's illegal in Mexico but manufactured in the United States started to cross the border. Suppose another country took that same stance. What would you say then? Go and finish up for me, Tag, so I can get busy.
Well, the real drug trade is perpetuated by shipping containers coming from Mexico to the West Coast ports of the United States, and they're marked to go to the Far East, and then they just switch the tickets in the ports, and then they come right into the United States unchecked, and that's much different than a little power boat off the south coast of America. I mean, yeah. I just said those boats would take 20 refills to get to the United States.
But it just doesn't make any sense, Tag.
People, that it's time.
Right. Tag, it makes no sense. And that some Americans are gullible, like our brother from Austin here, gullible to believe what Donald Trump is saying for a reason of blowing these boats up in the Caribbean. It's ridiculous. There's a purpose here. There's some normalcy that folks want to bring. The reason he moved 10,000 people from the Southern Command. And look, Panama, when there was a canal zone in Panama, the United States had several military bases, which was the headquarters of the Southern Command. And that is what it was used for to execute things in Central and South America. But Tag, I got to go now. So thank you so kindly for calling in, my brother.
Thanks, Egberto.
All right.
Hey,
anyway, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
The process we're talking about is called desensitization.
You're absolutely right. Normalization and desensitization. The desensitization means that you actually know it's bad, but it doesn't affect you the way that it normally did. Normalization is because you're used to it. Normalization is that is just something that happens. It's normal. I mean, it's twofold. All right, let's go ahead and get busy with water. I'm gonna come back to the phones in a little bit, but Jack went ahead and messed my program up by starting with water, something that I'm very interested in as well. So thank you, Jack. But here's the deal. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on water, though. I'm going to ask all of you to go, who have Netflix, to go to Netflix and look up a series called Rotten. Rotten. And there is a segment within that series, an episode of that series called Troubled Water. And there are certain things you're going to learn from that series. How bottle companies like Nestle and these others are not only destroying the environment, but corrupting our cities, our areas, and how people receive water. It's a statement of fact that the water out of your tap in most places are actually cleaner, healthier than the water in those bottles. What Jack pointed out about the plastic leaching itself into the water in these water bottles is absolutely true, and it affects your health. And you see the runners out there with their plastic bottles running. We go to these big marathons and there are these plastic bottles. All these things, we all drink from them, not guilty as charged. But it's really bad, and there's a certain amount of these chemicals, these plastics that leaches into your body. What else happens with these bottles is there is a loop within I think it's a Pacific Ocean, where the currents have turned these guys into a whole big garbage can of plastic bottles that is leaching within the flesh of many of our fish that just swallow these bottles whole, and their systems try to digest this thing, and it breaks down this plastic and it forms a part of their body. And then we eat the fish that many a times are polluted with these microplastics, etc., etc., etc. It's all around bad. They gave a good example in Nigeria and the pollution with these bottles scattered all over Lagos, Nigeria. But one of the things that they pointed out, and I wonder if Uju is on today that we can talk about that, but one of the issues with these bottles is that what the corporations do convince municipal water supply districts not to have good, reliable running water, portable water going through the pipes, etc., and have the people then dependent on these mechanisms of selling water in bottles. So the corporations corrupt the local municipal government from having a reliable water supply, so that then there would be a dependency on these bottled waters because you can't trust the municipal water supply. Again, these are ways in which these corporations put a hurt on Americans. They continuously do things, and look, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to do whatever it takes to make their shareholders large profits and their executives bonuses. And that's what they do with all the manufacture of these things that are not beneficial to society. So folks, there's a lot more to this issue, but it's not the issue of the day. Please, those who have Netflix, the name of the program or the series is called Rotten, and the particular episode of that series is called Troubled Water. I'm going to get to healthcare in a minute. Let's go to John from Cyprus, and then Jimmy out of Houston.
Hey, Egberto.
Yes, you're on, my brother. Talk to me, John.
Yeah, this is John in Cyprus. Yeah, we're all faced with the healthcare thing, and it's pretty scary for me. You having a fund drive, and I wish I could increase my $5 that I give every month to $10. And as soon as this healthcare thing is over, I'm going to consider that. But right now, insurance is killing me. But,
let me tell you. Look, I appreciate. Let me tell you something. Their churches have this stuff called tithe, right? And somebody that makes $100 a week and says, I can do $5, but somebody makes $100,000 and say I'm going to put $5. The $5 that person that makes $100 is a lot more of a sacrifice on that person to show that they believe in something than the person making $100,000 and doing $5. I am just happy, brother, that you're a part. So thank you so kindly. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the fact that I still have a voice, and it's very close to not having that. And I always thought the main media, the Democrats, even though I'm not a Democrat, I thought they spoke for us, for people like myself. I'm on Social Security, I'm retired, I'm disabled, and that's an old story. But when you see our money being given away to Argentina, and then not just the 40 billion, but you turn around and you talk about you're going to buy beef from them, and you're going to hurt the very people who voted for you, and he doesn't care. And why aren't the Democrats jumping up and down in front of a microphone in press conferences stating that to Mike Johnson?
Exactly.
Now, I like what Mr. Gallegos did in Arizona, and that's just sit there and repeatedly say, if you don't fight pedophilia, you're just as guilty.
Exactly.
And why all the Democrats are doing that? Why it takes Gallegos in Arizona to do it? Where are our representatives here in Texas?
I am so glad you said that. No fighting spirit whatsoever. And you're absolutely right. And the reason why there's no fighting spirit, I'm going to go into that in a little bit. You made me flip the order in which I'm going to do it. I was going to do healthcare first, but I'm going to do the Democratic Party first. So, Hey, John, let me go ahead and get to Jimmy. I really appreciate you.
Hey, thank you for listening.
I appreciate you, brother. Let's go to Jimmy. Come on in, Jimmy.
Last night, Egberto, I watched an amazing PBS Frontline program titled The Rise of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's a 2-hour amazing program all about his life, how he became addicted to heroin, how he was part of the Kennedy family. His father was Robert Kennedy, who was assassinated. And he was planning to run for president, but he didn't get much support, so he decided to join Trump. And Trump introduced him, and he got a lot of applause, and Trump was amazed at all the applause he was getting. But he's been an anti-vaxxer. He's head of the Center for Disease Control, with a $2 trillion budget. He's making a lot of bad decisions. He's into conspiracy theories. I'm calling mainly for people to learn about Kennedy and how he may be harming our country and the health of our people, and also how great this Frontline program is. It's a good program to watch it whenever they have one, because they're very educational. Did you happen to watch it?
I haven't watched it, but I saw the headlines of it occurring. So, yeah, I kind of followed a whole lot of RFK and how crazy he is. I tell you one thing, Jimmy, that concerns me, right? We have a country now that isn't reporting, the CDC is not reporting as it should. The BLM is not reporting as it should, which means now many don't realize that we have a measles crisis in America now. We're likely to have many other things that vaccines were taken care of, because people think it may just be okay to be without vaccines, or just maybe vaccines can do harm, which, that a lot of people are going to forego them, and we are going to be a sicker nation. And even as being a sicker nation, a nation that is uninsured, it's down the rabbit hole. And I tell you, the Trump administration, along with Robert F. Kennedy, they're responsible. We don't know what's going on because they're not reporting. The private sector, private organizations are trying to do it. But what can I say? Hey, Jimmy, I got to get started here. Anything you need to say real quick?
That's all. I'll just say that this Kennedy is harming the health of our country, probably causing people to die. He's totally unqualified for that job, and he should be removed.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Let's talk tomorrow, Jimmy. All right. I'm going to go into the Democratic Party and how it pretty much brought Trump to the fold. But let's go to Sandy for a quick update. I want to give Jacqueline Campisi, la profesora, our teachers. I love teachers. Thank you so kindly for being our first donor. Folks, we need a lot more. 713-526-5738. And we also have LB, another profesora, in the chat as well. One from Katie, one from Kingwood. 2 Ks. Wow. All right, let's go. Sandy?
Yes, again, good morning, everybody. We're about at the bottom of the hour, and Jacqueline became the first donor this morning. Thank you for doing that. We have a $500 goal. We're a mighty long way from that. I'd like to see a few more people pop in and donate to this program and to KPFT this morning. Folks, our phone number is 713-526-5738, option 1, or KPFT.org. It's hump day, and you may be waking up and looking around for that first cup of coffee. For a $120 donation, we can get you a coffee cup and a pound of Lola Savannah roasted Caroline Street beans for your enjoyment and as a thank you gift for your donation. Again, our phone number is 713-526-5738, option 1. Can a few of you join in at the $10 a month club? 5 of you doing that, and we actually go over the goal this morning. It's not difficult to any individual show unless those of you listening do not take that step to do so. We can't do it for you. We can only do this with you. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. If you're driving, don't do this while you're driving. Wait till you're safe, pull over. And in fact, you can donate anytime, any day of this year or any year at kpft.org with a click of the donate button, or again by calling 713-526-5738, hit option 1. But like to see a few more of you join in. We really do need to get the goal made this morning on this show and every show. Yesterday, our transmitter was being worked on, and they made some progress toward restoring HD. There's a few more steps, I'm told, that need to be taken, but at least the new components were installed yesterday. It did cost us about an hour and a half of time in the afternoon where the transmitter was off, and that compromised our fundraising just a little bit yesterday. So we got some catch up to do this morning. KPFT listeners, friends, don't let the opportunity to pass you by to become radioactive and keep free speech alive in Houston. Yes, we still have a voice. Yes, please do your part. The gentleman that called in and said he was retired and on Social Security, I think many of us can relate to a limited income and only so much to give. If you are not giving now, consider that $5 a month gift. $5 doesn't get you too far. Gets you a couple of gallons of gasoline, maybe. Gets you about 2/3 a cup of coffee from the barista at the coffee shop on the corner. Not even a whole cup of coffee anymore. And if you dare go through the drive-through, 99 cents is now $4.99. And when you add the tax, the hamburger is even not attainable with that $5 bill. What is? KPFT. That is attainable. And this is something that is nutritious and delicious and goes right in your ears and melts in your mind. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Egberto, it's 6:30.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. LB says it best. LBW, la profesora. I love teachers, man. They send knowledge forward. Can't do without them. LBD says, sustainer member here. Thank you for being a sustainer. She says, 1 less Starbucks a month is not even miss. Please help Egberto stay on the air. Love you, girl. I love you. Let me tell you something. And she nails it. 1 less Starbucks a day. Hey, or one less. You don't think it's worth it for us to have free speech radio? Anyway, let's get to the Democratic Party. Let me take my host hat off for a minute. Now, as a private citizen not behind a mic, I am a progressive, 100% progressive, somebody to the left. I also make sure to have real friends. I'm not talking just talking, real friends of all ideologies, and I do that intentionally. I have a sister that I could say is MAGA because she's an evangelical Christian and that church is that way. But I also have true, real friends that are MAGA. Some people say, how the hell could you do that? That's racist. Look, let me tell you, life is a lot more complicated than that. So I do have friends of all ideologies, and I mean real friends now, okay? They're not wired to see many times what I'm saying. I continue to work with it. I believe in human beings. As a humanist, I believe that's my responsibility, okay? I believe in human beings and all the permutations of the mindset of human beings. Now, I say that to bring a point up that when we talk about the Democratic Party, etc., some people just think by saying, I'm a Democrat or I'm a progressive or I am this, that it takes away all the ills of what we look into others and see. Many perceive the right as racist. Many perceive the right as all these bad things. Anytime I get to that feeling in my heart, because there are times that when I watch TV, it's like, damn, these people are racist. How can you not see this? These people are X. How can you not see that? These people are this. How can you not see that? And it hits me. And what brings me back down is to remember that I have relatives who I love very much, who I know intimately are good people, will serve on an individual basis, will give you the shirts off of their backs. The human psyche is a complicated thing, and such is our parties as well. Now, and if we can get that into our head, maybe we can make some headway. But anyway, a good friend of mine, I interview him a lot on my program, and he writes a lot. He has an article out with Common Dreams. His name is Norman Solomon. You guys can look him up. He's a great journalist, been around for a while. And he wrote an article that hit me, and I'm probably going to, call him and say, let's do a Substack on this. And the article is titled, "The Corporate Democrats Delivered Donald Trump." And I wanted to give a big hand clap to that, because when I wrote an article similarly in 2016 for the Daily Kos, Democrats and progressives sliced me. They cut me. How dare you compare these guys with us in the first place? And how can you say that? Because Donald Trump did exactly what Bill Clinton did, something known as triangulation, and a fall populist. And that's what happened. Let me give a big thank you to Jay. Jay out of Lake Jackson, Texas. Thank you so kindly for such a generous contribution. We couldn't do this without you, Jay. And also Bobby out of Houston, Texas. Thank you so kindly. And of course, Miss Jacqueline out of Katy. Love you all. Thank you. You guys make this thing happen. Let's talk about the party. Now,
Hey, Egberto.
Go ahead.
This difference between Democrat and Republican, is really about who is a neoliberalist Republican and who is a neoliberalist Democrat.
That's the difference. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, you're correct, but it's a bit deeper than that, because I don't want people to believe that just because you're a Democrat or you're a progressive mean that you don't have some of the same ills that people that are on the right has, whether it be racism, whether it be sexism, whether it be homophobia, all these things. Because I've been a progressive for a long time, and I used to be a homophobe. I was a progressive for a long time, and I used to be a sexist, but a Democrat. And I suffered those evils. So I'm not going to give myself a pat on the back because I'm a progressive. Hell no. I needed to change myself as well. And once you are humble in Spanish, cuando eres humilde, when you're humble enough to humble is a city, humble is a word. When you are humble enough to say, I have to change my ways, irrespective of what I am, then you can come out there and to some extent, sometimes even get a bit preachy. So going back though to the Democratic Party, my brother Norman Solomon said the following: the human condition includes a vast array of unavoidable misfortunes, but what about the preventable one? Should the United States provide for basic needs of its people? Of course it should. Such questions get distinctly short-shrifted in the dominant political narratives when someone can't make ends meet and suffer the dire consequences. The mainstream default is to see a failing individual rather than a failing system. A failing individual rather than a failing system. And what did the Democratic adapt? What the Democratic Party adapted was the following, and I'm off of his text right now. They bought into the fallacy that Republicans and conservatives like to put out there, that one, we can all lift ourselves up by the bootstraps, but two, that all of our failings are self-induced. I'm not saying that some of our failings are not self-induced, but even our self-induced failings. Let's go into the middle of a ghetto or let's go to Appalachia. Let me not use a ghetto for a change here. Let's use Appalachia as an example. Why is the condition in Appalachia consistent? Because it is systemic. It is systemic, meaning that is the only way people in Appalachia know of existing, of how to live. And if you try to apply the policies that you have in, let's say, suburban Kingwood of a group of people who want to have, let's say, their own little small businesses and their own this or that, you would have failed. And why would you have failed? Because what undergirds that, what would have been necessary to have the framework in your mind that you can attain certain things would not have been there. And that's the mistake when Clinton came about and talked about, Clinton had the best employment in this country, bar none. Okay. But because the problem was systemic, it was not lasting. The people when the corporations reach a certain point in their development that they have to continue the parasitic behavior of acquiring, the people who pay is you. So the Democratic Party, to some extent, adapted the lift yourself up by your bootstrap ideology from the Republican Party without doing what needed to be done, and that is bringing people educationally to the point where that is a possibility. And in doing that, they became nothing more than what you just heard Brother Jack talk about, the neoliberal Republican and the neoliberal Democrat, that somehow the private sector, the private system, you owning your own something can solve the problem. But it ain't so. If you weren't given the beginnings, as an example, I always talk about how I love how my parents groomed me, because they groomed me as being someone who could do whatever I wanted to do if I worked at it. But that wasn't all they did. They made sure that as I went to school, I did well in school. So it is not just about saying you lift yourself up by the bootstrap and things will work out for you. I always resented Clinton when he signed the welfare bill with two overweight black women on either side of him. And I always resented that because he went ahead and said, I bought into the stereotype. Black people are the majority on welfare, even though they have a higher percentage than white people. But he wanted to inculcate into the minds of people, I am solving a problem and I defined the problem as it was lied to you about. I've never forgiven Brother Clinton for doing that. When I say I've never forgiven, I voted for the guy because I do vote for the best of the best of the worst, right? But what he did there was just a softer version of the lies we hear racially from the right or from Donald Trump, etc. The Democratic Party, as trying to be so much different, I'm talking Democratic Party leadership, than what the Republican represent, just ain't there. When Nancy Pelosi comes out and says, I'm a capitalist, without realizing that is the system that is actually holding back the people she represents without even a discussion. That's the Democratic Party. As Brother Jack talks about, that's the neoliberal section of the Democratic Party, the neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party. Until the Democratic Party goes ahead and sees people where they are, and I'm not talking about welfare people or ghetto people or Appalachia people or the barrio people or whatever, but until people see that this is a party that says, I'm going to throw out all the old stuff. I'm going to look at what's going to build people up. Two things are going to set in, and that is apathy. And apathy being, it doesn't matter if the Democrats or Republicans are in. It does matter. Let me tell you, for the middle class, it does matter. For a lot of people on the poor side, yeah, we are used to pain. Why do the effort? Until they become that party that is actually going to go out there and say, I am going to really institute policies that solve what my brother Norman Solomon calls it as opportunity as a killer ideology. And the link is in my newsletter, politicsandright.com/newsletter. There's a lot more to talk about this issue, but since I have two callers, I'm going to go to the callers. Let's go to Dalila. Yeah, come on in.
Morning, Egberto.
Good morning. How you doing, sister?
This morning that you talked about triangulation, because most people don't know about that, but you are right. You nailed it with the Democratic Party. The Democrats are soft bigots. I think we just need to go ahead on and put that out there. And I think about Bill Clinton and his policies. Bill Clinton mounted a frontal assault against black people and poor people in general. NAFTA, you took all those jobs, you put them overseas. His welfare reform policies plunged thousands, if not millions of children into poverty, and that welfare reform 3 strikes you out, mass incarceration. And for the life of me, I don't understand why every time Bill Clinton is somewhere, black people stand on their feet and clap for him.
Delilah, can I interrupt for a second?
The Democrats are the reason why we have Donald Trump and not Joe Biden. because listening to Nancy Pelosi tell them Biden was not fit to be president, they were not going to vote for a black woman because this country was split. It was racially split. You know, Donald Trump had done a great job on splitting us up. They weren't going to do it. Our best chance was to vote Joe Biden, but they convinced him listening to Nancy Pelosi. The Democratic Party, the other problem that they have, they rule from the top. Bernie Sanders has been trying to pull that party and get them to focus more on poor people and working class people. They won't do it. They won't listen. People, and I want you to talk about this because this is what I think. I think we need a leader, a real leader. You know, people need to be led because we're all over the place. Well, of course, black people never block voted for some odd reason. We never vote our interest. We like pomp and circumstance. So if it look good, sound good, if I can speak well, and I look, you know, I'm a great looker, I can get their vote. But we need a leader like we had in the 60s and the 70s because leaders refocus you, they energize you. We don't have them because they're all over the place. And I'm going to be quiet and let you speak to those things that I've touched on. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Bye.
Thank you so kindly for what you had to say, Delilah. And I'm going to address that. Let me get more on the phone and then I'm going to address that all as a composite. Let's go to Brother John in Minneapolis.
I just wanted to say that the previous caller said it best. You cannot have a truly democratic party without the working class, without the poor, having input. And the Democratic Party has they rule from the top, and anybody that stands against them, like you experienced yourself, is viciously attacked. So, a lot of people, what happens? They stay home. That's what happens. I am a progressive Democrat from the time I could vote, which was 1974, and have seen this party degenerate through, accepting neoliberalism as if it is the gospel. And that's all I have to say. But
Thank you.
We have created our own circumstances, and we need to change it.
Yeah, thank you for that, John. Let's go to Brother Donald. I appreciate you. Donald?
Good morning, Egberto. When you were talking about that chocolate milkshake,
yes, sir.
Out about all that love that was poured in that milkshake and that sprinkle of Jesus.
I love you, man.
Have a good one.
You too, brother. All right. Delilah made my day. By the way, Donald always make my day. John always make my day. But Delilah, thank you for that. You nailed it. I have a few corollaries with Clinton because what I like to do, right, is I like to do things that always unite, right? And let me tell you something. Bill Clinton, along with the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, are responsible for that heavy-duty attack on crime where crack was treated differently than cocaine and all. We can't give anybody a pass. And I notice that's what you didn't do. You don't give anybody a pass. So just as well, Nancy Pelosi, we hold the blame up to. We've got to hold it to the CBC who allowed that thing that threw a whole lot of black bodies in prison for doing the same crime that others have committed as well. This is a complex problem. One of the reasons why I said I make sure to have everyone as friends and family. Why? Because we have got to see the big picture. And the big picture, folks, is the following. It is not, and I repeat, things like race, sex, gender, and all these things that we create issues about, they are simply tools that allow the corporate sector to continue its dominance on us. I didn't do a very good job in my timing today in being able to express all the things that I need to express, but I rather hearing from you all of the times. And this is a daily show, so we can always do this as we go on, and many of your regular listeners, so we can do it. But let's get Champ into the fold. Brother Champ, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
Talk to me, sir.
I've always considered Bill Clinton a moderate Republican.
Good. I think you're about right.
He didn't do anything to reduce may not be the right word, the massive tax cuts that were enacted before him. And several years ago here in Texas, there were two Republicans running for governor. There was a man from down in the valley that was running as a Democrat, but he admitted in one interview that I heard that he was actually a Republican, but in the area that he lived, you couldn't get elected if you were a Republican. So he ran as a Democrat. I can't recall his name, probably basically because he lost.
Yeah, I mean, look, let me tell you, I think Clinton is a real Democrat, an old-style Democrat. You remember the thing we call the blue dog type Democrat? So, I mean, we have to remember the history of the Democratic Party. So, no, I think he was a real Democrat. But again, he's a corporatist. He's a neoliberal, just like most of the Democrats in leadership. And as Glenn Ryan points out, Glenn said, Egberto, the neoliberals control the message and the money. You know this. They need to be voted out and never supported. Make them loose. Come on, brother. Cut them loose. I hear you, Glenn. Don't forget, Glenn, we have a coffee date now. Go ahead, champ.
But I did vote for Bill Clinton, and I am a sustaining member.
Brother Champ, thank you so kindly.
Have a blessed day.
You too, champ. And look, I voted for Clinton too. I voted for Biden. I don't mind telling people who I vote for. I don't think the FCC minds me telling people who I voted for. I never used to vote straight Democratic ticket at all. There are a couple of local judges that in the olden days that because of the good things that they did that I voted for. But because of where we are, I can't tell you the last time I actually voted for Republican. I have a good friend that she's a Republican. I look at her and I said, look, sis, I love you. But because of the current state, I can't support you. We'll always be friends, but I can't support you. So anyhow, let me jump to Sandy. We need folks, please. It's a fun drive. We're talking, I know, but we need folks to call 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Please donate whatever you can. $5 a month, $10 a month. As Sister LB DeSoda says, she gives up one Starbucks coffee a month to support us. Think about it. $5, $10 a month. I know you can. Sandy?
Thank you, Egberto. A real good question to ask some of the people running for office is, why are you running? What do you want to do with this? And maybe we'll get a straight answer one day. It's hard to do. But folks, a straight answer for you is we are in fund drive. We're trying to collect the funds necessary to pay all the bills all the way through February with this fund drive. We skipped our summer sizzle, giving everybody a break from asking. We get a running start at these fund drives beginning at the start of a month and coming in the middle of a month, asking you on air to donate. This is day number 7 of our fund drive. We're doing very well. Bobby, Jay, Jacqueline, thank you for getting us started this morning. There's plenty of room for you and you and you as well. 713-526-5738, option 1, or KPFT.org. Earlier, I mentioned stumbling around on a Wednesday morning looking for that first cup of coffee, and I told you that a $10 a month or a $120 pledge can get you a pound of coffee and a coffee cup, a Caroline Street coffee cup to put that in. You can also up that pledge to $140 and get that pound of coffee in our stainless steel thermos bottle branded with our logo, the new logo for KPFT. And that's a $140 donation. And that can go with you wherever you go with your coffee in tow, and it will keep it warm and it'll keep cold drinks cold. It's that kind of thermos bottle. I think it's described in our verbiage as Yeti-like. So there you go. 713-526-5738, option 1. If you're like me and occasionally spill some coffee on your shirt, you'll probably need another shirt. And that could be our Fall Fund Drive t-shirt. That is a $100 donation, butter color, long sleeve, with a great design from our own blues hound, James Nagel. Real handsome shirt. I think I've already gotten mine in the mail coming. $100 donation. Do your part, whatever that might be. Some of us can afford $50 a month or $100 a month, and some of us can afford $5 a month. And again, thank you for that caller that suggested that they would like to increase their donation from $5 to $10 a month. once everything becomes clear, which may take a while. But if you're doing okay and you got that $5 a month subscription going right now, double it, make it 10. And a $10 a month sustaining pledge puts you in line for a restaurant coupon or gift card from one of the 3 eateries that's underwriting us. And that pertains to pizza or barbecue. And so you ask for the gift card when you sign up at $10 a month being a sustainer. But we do need to hear from you. We've got a goal to make for the day. We've got a goal to make for this program. Nothing is promised. Nothing is guaranteed. We see a lot of community radio stations, PBS and NPR stations starting to disappear as they were so reliant on the CPB funding that they were getting, oftentimes comprising as much as a third of their budget. Media is expensive. KPFT is expensive. But fortunately, there are a lot of you listening, and I hope there are a lot of you with that marginal dollar that you can throw our way. Again, our phone number, 713-526-5738, option 1, or mouse it over to kpft.org and click that donate button and do your part to keep KPFT independent and keep independent media on the air, keep freedom of speech on the air in Houston with that call, with that pledge. And thank you for doing so. Egberto, back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. You know, guys, as soon as I'm done here, I run and I jump on my spinner and I'm going to spin for about a half hour to 35 minutes. And then I'm going to go, sitting behind a computer 16 hours a day means you got to do some workout, right? So I'm going to do that. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. But you know what would make it hurt less? If I got 3 more calls in to close out this morning. I mean, think about it. I'm pumping that. I'm on the bike riding hard. And it hurts. But just knowing that I got those numbers in makes it pleasurable. I'm just BSing now, but please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Hey, Coffee with Egberto. Hey, I guarantee you're going to have fun. When I sit down, I can be a fun kind of guy, so 713-526-5738, that Coffee with Egberto. Just go to kpft.org, hit, when you're searching for your gift, just, look for Egberto, Egberto, it'll pop up. And you know what, man, we'll go ahead and have some coffee. Also, don't forget that t-shirt, man, the KPFT t-shirt that I think is Robin who designed. It's real nice. Check it out, the Politics Done Right t-shirt, or, get whatever other things that we have there when you go to kpft.org. But I ask you to remember to select Politics Done Right as a program you are supporting to make sure that, we know where things are coming in from. Hey, I didn't give a salute to Joanne from Los Angeles, California. Hi, Joe. Great to see you in the chat as well. And of course, our John Cotter from Kingwood. How you doing, John Cotter? He is the president of the Humble Area Democrats. Love having you here, John Cotter. Para ver quién más está aquí. I'm waiting for we have a station ID in a minute, so I want to call you. Eric Hayes is in town. He says, coffee is better with Egberto. Love you, Eric. Thank you. Eric, I tell you, I have friends that are MAGA, though he doesn't like me when I call him MAGA, but he is, right? But he's a friend, and we talk. Sometimes I want to, but we talk. We've even had coffee, right? You got to get and meet people where they are. Harry Denson out of Missouri City. We love us some Harry. Harry, take care of yourself. Make sure and take care of yourself. Terry R. just joined us. Texas Tina, welcome aboard. And JB from North Carolina. Anyway, folks, this is KPFT Houston. Thank you guys for being here. Anyway, look, before we close out, I want to say one thing on Medicare and Medicare Advantage. And I normally don't say do this, do that, do that. I can't officially say that. But what I can say is when it is my time to get Medicare, I will definitely, the sales pitch for Medicare Advantage is great. They make you believe you're getting the best thing since apple pie. Folks, if there are some people that are on the poverty level, they just can't afford it, Medicare Advantage will be your only solution in that case, because you can't afford what they're going to charge you for the Medigap program, the Medigap to cover the 20% that Medicare doesn't have. And if you have to do that, that's what you have to do. But we are going to be continuing our fight to get truly traditional Medicare to cover everything. But in the interim, folks, if all of you keep going to Medicare Advantage, you will kill traditional Medicare. You will kill it. Those of us that are moving on, that can afford Medicare, traditional Medicare, it is imperative that we stick with traditional Medicare and get a Medigap program. Otherwise, we will be hurting ourselves like we've done much too often. I have a closer, but beforehand, I'm going to throw it to the studio for them to say their little piece. And Mayanna, anything to say, my dear sister, and Jack?
I had something to say at the beginning, but I've lost it. But because I'm a very big documentary person, so I'm going to check out the documentary you recommended.
Yep, it's a darn good documentary, and give your buddy a pat on his back for tickling me into remembering that. Jack.
Absolutely.
Republican Party was taken over by the Blue Dog Democrats, Dixiecrats, mainly big oil. And so we got basically two Democratic parties that are neoliberalist running things, elevating the corporate and diminishing the people.
All right, Jack. Thank you. Sandy.
Thank you, Egberto, and thanks everybody for listening this morning and for participating in this program. Please participate in our fund drive and the funding of KPFT. We've had 3 donations this morning. We need about 3 more to be whole. And maybe you could do $5 or $10 a month or throw a $100 bill down on KPFT. But we do need to hear from you. We cannot afford to fall short on this drive or really any drive when we ask. We have a very small budget compared to the other Pacifica stations, just the same. We have some very big bills that aren't getting any less with time. So please participate. Those of you that haven't made a pledge yet this drive or have never made a pledge, please become the next new member to KPFT and support community radio in Houston. Together, we can travel forward. If enough of us don't take action, there's no more KPFT. We will be another community station that dies for lack of the money across the country. Don't let that happen here. We need this essential resource to continue these and other vital conversations in our community. The news, the views, the music, all of it is KPFT. All of it belongs to each of us. Do your part. 713-526-5738, option 1, or KPFT.org. Jacqueline, Jay, Bobby, thank you. Let's get some more people supporting this program. Egberto, thank you for what you do each and every morning.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. So, folks, don't forget, even after the show is over, you can go to kpft.org, hit the donate button. I ask you kindly to do select Politics Done Right as the program you are supporting, so that Sandy and others in the administration know what, what's kind of leading or funding. At 713-526-5738, extension 1, do the same. Make sure to say that it's Politics Done Right. Anyway, folks, the rest of the program is at politicsandright.com/newsletter. What we didn't cover today, you can write me directly at kpft@politicsandright.com, kpft@politicsandright.com. I love you all, and I mean that from the depths of my heart. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know I hand this baby. I am what? Out!
Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsandright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations,